Hello everyone, Blue Star Saber here doing my very late review for chapter 1085 of One Piece. Let's see, the death of Nefertari Cobra. I'm saying very late because, well, the early translations of chapter 1086 is out and everyone has already given their views on this. I'm going to try and hopefully review the official translation tomorrow, or at least the day or two after. But at the very least, that's happened. And there's also been like the shocking. There's been also the news that Oda has now. There's going to be like a 5-week hiatus of One Piece since Oda is now doing some eye surgery, just because he needs to get his eyes better. So kudos to him for all the work he's done with his eyes not being at their best. And he even makes some jokes about getting laser eyes. I think it goes to show just the sort of health issues that sort of comes with like writing a weekly manga. I mean, I would love to do it, but well, who knows? I don't think I'll ever get the chance. I mean, who knows? But yeah, I'm not sure I'll be able to handle the work conditions. I got to work on my own sleeping habits. In fact, I probably shouldn't be doing a stream this late at night here in the UK, but yeah. So yeah, we have that, and yeah. But before we get in with the actual chapter and see the death of like Nefertari Cobra, we have like the reader request cover page in which Frankie is rooting on for sea turtles, hatchlings as they call to the water, requested by Ringayama. As we see baby sea turtles going to the ocean while you're seeing Frankie holding a sign saying departure. Let's see, crying and saluting the turtles as Frankie tends to get very emotional on this stuff. So yeah, I quite like that. So yeah, I also like it. Funny how he's like sitting on a crab that looked like it was probably planning to try and eat some of those baby sea turtles. I don't know if that's what they actually do. I do know that they have to face the threat of seagulls, but I guess maybe crabs would also. But well, at least giant crabs. But luckily, I think most sea turtles don't have to deal with giant crabs. I could be wrong. Well, at least not the ones that's big enough for Frankie to sit on. So yeah, I'm not sure. I think some people made some camaraderie jokes about Frankie seeing himself in the turtles, but I'll have to wait and see. But anyway, on to the actual chapter. It begins with like Cobra just thinking about how no one's supposed to be sitting on that throne and all that stuff. Let's see, as that means that this person is pretty much swaying the entire world in his will. As Emu declares that there are two things that he wishes to say, and one thing he wants to ask of Cobra, and that's why he's come and, son his presence. Cobra's just shocked by all this, tries to quickly ask who he is. But Emu is having none of this. Interesting. No, before that, he reveals that he knows that the name of Emo, implying that it's a name amongst the first 20, but of course, Emo's having none of it. He's decided that. Let's see, as he sort of talks, I think, in third person about how you'll not provide it and all that stuff. As he goes like, I can tell how thou wish to know and all that stuff. So yeah, he's speaking in third person. Reveals that the D was once the name of those who once, opposed them, and knows that now knows that around every corner of the world now. Let's see who have been coming up in recent years. I think it depends on which translation. Let's see, saying that they're nothing but more like empty husks that have long since forgotten the whole meaning and purpose of their name, though. Let's see. He says that the recent developments that you've been seeing with the Decan, is brutally caused by apparently Queen Lily's great mistake from 800 years ago, which confuses Cobra. But as well as they're also causing the many scholars that they've had to deal with that have been researching the Void Century and all that stuff. Let's see. As well as the pirates who searched for the polyglyphs, that either the researchers to learn history and the pirates to learn like treasure, saying that they could have been all avoided if Lily's mistake on that day did not cause the polyglyphs to be scattered across the world. So yeah, Let's see. And given the fact that this mistake has had some very huge consequences, let's see, of them in the now and possibly in the future if the secrets of those Polygus ever get revealed and all that stuff. He wonders if the Polygus being scattered was actually a mistake, or was it a deliberate plan and all that stuff. As Cobra is listening in, the Gora say each draw a pistol except for the one that except for the one that's always carrying a sword, which everyone referred to Gandhi until the next chapter. Let's see. As they're all drawing it to Cobra, as he demands to answer the question of what Lily's letters said. But he has heard what he said spoke, but let's see, he has heard him speak about Queen Lily of Nefertari Dynasty. Let's see. But wondering is, what else did you hide from Mu and all that stuff? He refers to himself as Mood and from Mu and all that stuff. But yeah, going like, tell Mu the proper name of the sender. As Cobra starts to realize that, okay, he finally confirms that, yeah, I'm not going to leave this alive. Let's see. I think so it kind of shows his mindset of like, well, he's not going to leave this room alive and all that stuff. So he even confirms this by asking, what if he were to lie? Would he be able to escape? Let's see. But the one with the Gorosei with elder with the big mustache ends up saying that the moment you saw Imu, your fate was sealed. So he says that there is really, she should have expected that because, well, this is the biggest taboo in the world. During this, you have Sabo listening in and all that stuff. Let's see, thinking about how messed up this whole situation is. As Cobra reveals that the real name of Queen Lily, what Queen Lily put on her letter 800 years ago, saying her name as Nefertari D. Lily, revealing that she is a member of the D clan, or the family, if you will. And let's see, Imu, we get a focus of Imu's eyes. I'm not sure if he's shocked by this, but he does close it down a bit. Let's see, if this is like confirming something. Let's see, just contemplating the deal, maybe confirming it. As we get this mysterious black arrow swiping through and stabbing Cobra. And this is then Sabo jumps out and uses the Fire Fist move, Rock Check. With them, then you get Imu being, let's see, then at the elders, and then firing another one at Imu, and him just getting all angry, at least where his eyes are staring, saying, "Where did thou come from?" And he transforms into this sort of like, we have no idea what he's transformed to because of its shadow figure, but it's like but it has sort of large teeth, and it implies a bit of a beast-like thing. As Sabo is standing beside Cobra, and you see a Denden Mishi taking the picture in the way that it looked like how he murdered him and all that stuff. As you see Sabo you see that Sabo is just commenting on how he was hoping to try and take them all down with their attack, but let's see, he didn't think there'd be such a diabolical truth in the pinnacle of the world, or depending on which translation, some sort of, let's see, he just entered hell, if you will. And that's how it is, as you see the Gorosei around him of each transformed into what appears to be 5 mythical beasts. One looks like a sort of bull or minotaur with a horn. One looks more like an awakening, like Luffy's Gear 5 or Rob Lucci's. Well, I think one looks like a bit like a more of a subtly echo thing. You can barely see it in this one bit of panel. And one looks like a bird that, let's see, spoiler people I recall saying looked like Big News Morgan's, but it looks like some sort of bird and all that stuff. And another looks like a boar and all that stuff. And you've got like some now giant big figure and some giant big figure crawling down the throne. That, let's see, is clearly Imu and all that stuff. So, yeah. As Cobra realizes that the one who has just attacked the Gorosei and probably saved him at this moment, at least in that moment, is Luffy's brother Sabo, asking why is the Revolutionary Army saving him, with Sabo revealing that to him that the real enemies aren't really the kings. Let's see, for the Revolutionary Army, it's, well, the five elders and Emu and any of the celestial dragons that are just standing above them and all that stuff. I was curious on how Cobra knows Luffy, and he reveals that Luffy once saved his life, and Sabo just literally does a chuckle saying that, yeah, that sounds like my brother, or that sounds like Luffy, as he carries Cobra and being chased as you get more a closer up of like those sort of figures. Let's see, like that one mysterious let's see, other one that was sort of hiding in the panels and more of a giant blob circle thing. So yeah, with Cobra asking, is Sabo able to escape on his own? Let's see, as he's saying it's too late for him, so you might as well just leave him to die so he can at least escape. But Sabo wants to save him, but Cobra tells him that he's realized something, that, let's see, in order for this to happen, Sabo must not die, as he needs to entrust Sabo to send a message to both Luffy and his daughter Vivi, which sort of surprises Sabo. And he says to them, tell them that we also bear the D, which surprises Sabo, as he says that he sees the path forward for which Alabasta must take and all that stuff. And as Sabo starts getting a flashback to when he once asked Ace and Luffy why they both have the middle D in their names, despite not being blood relatives and all that stuff. Let's see with Luffy confirming and Ace saying, I don't really care about that, and neither does really Luffy, or what their names actually are. And then asks Sabo, does he want a D in his name, and calls him Sadibo, which sort of annoys Sabo, saying that's not where it should go. And then you see sort of Ace and maybe Luffy laughing at this. Anyway, that mysterious black arrow, let's see, that stabbed Cobra, now stabs both Sabo and Cobra again, despite the fact that Sabo's a Logi user, so he feels damage and he ends up dropping Cobra. As Cobra stands, saying, like, Queen Lily's, let's see, a message saying the polyglyphs must be protected, but the growling prevents you from hearing everything. Saying, let's see, implied that there might be a bit where, let's see, there might be a bit in the middle that Cobra wants to say, but says that bear the flag of the dawn against, let's see, something, the world. Let's see, saying that this word was from Nefertari D. Lily, saying he's counting on Sabo, and that's arguably where he's dies, as you hear a sort of sound effect. You don't actually see the actual death itself, but you hear Sabo cry out King Cobra and how he must survive and all that stuff. And let's see, the Gorosei over Cobra's corpse tend to notice that there's someone who's looking at them, and you see a hole where it is Wapol being shocked that not only did Cobra just die and all that stuff, and even though he hated Cobra, he can't really he's saying, well, depending on which translation, but he feels like even he can't really celebrate this let's see, celebrate the way he died, or at least how, let's see, or just seeing him die, and thinks that he just saw something he shouldn't, and as he just realized he's learned the truth of just like the world government and its darkest secret, and he doesn't want to know who that person was on the throne, and realizes that, okay, after seeing that, and he has a feeling that the Gorosei elders and Emu probably have an idea that it was him. So he realizes that whatever his life was before, it's now over. And he has to now run and hide. Now, I'm going to give my thoughts on this part of the chapter. Now, I do like how Cobra is just slowly processing, just like where it's just when he's just looking up and Emu realizing like let's see, what is just going on? It's like no one should be sitting there and all that stuff. Let's see, he realizes that, okay, this is the tablet, no one's supposed to sit there, and the whole thing is a lie. Let's see, and all that stuff. But of course, it's interesting seeing Emu, let's see. But yeah, like, no one's supposed to lie, no one's supposed to sit there. Let's see, I've just learned probably the biggest secret the world government has. Hold on, accidentally let's see, reloaded my page. I need to try and I'm trying to flip. It's not letting me. Oh, come on. Gonna have to read it from another site. So I don't, hold on a sec. Let's see, but yeah. All right, here we go. Yeah. But I do like how we see Emu talking. It's like in third person, and granted, I think there might be a particular way it's done in Japanese and all that stuff, but you've got it done in the his translation. It's "Thou will speak," or "There are thou things I wish to say to you," and all that stuff. Let's see, "I will not," and all that stuff. So he's sort of got Emu speaking in third person, like he's some sort of higher being and all that stuff, which no doubt he not only views himself as king of this world, but probably also as like the god of this world and as creator and all that stuff. But yeah. But I do find it interesting that the reason he's decided to reveal himself to Cobra is that he wants to just confirm some things with Cobra. It seems like since Cobra has now decided to finally speak about the member of the Nefertari family, I've spoken about Queen Lily and mentioned the Will of D. It's like it seems to have like roused his suspicions on some things she's had on her. So he's gonna like just go and ask Cobra directly, making sure that he follows what he says. He's gonna tell him two things, and then let's see, once he's told him these two things, he wants to be answered. And they also get a bit of an info dump here, at least with the way Cobra implies is that the name Emu seems to be possibly one of the 20 kings. I'm not going to say if that is confirmation or not. But kings and queens from 800 years ago. So I'm not going to say, because you'll find out that in the next chapter. But this gives us a first hint on like Emu's identity. But I think with like this questioning on Lily and all that stuff, it pretty much debunked the theories that many people were having, just like the previous chapter ago. Like Lily is Emu and all that stuff. Let's see, Emu's the final villain of Lily. Let's see, final villain female, and it's Lily. Granted, it hasn't. Well, it's probably killed off the theory that Emu is Lily. It has not yet quite debunked the idea of what Emu's gender is. I think some people's like, okay, it's not Lily, but that still doesn't mean it's being a female or male, and we still have no idea what Emu's gender is right now. I'm not going to make any assumptions of what Emu's gender is until you actually get the face reveal, but I think at the moment we're not going to get anything. So the best bet is that you're going to get, a face reveal later down the line, or when the anime finally catches up to this bit, probably about a year from now, maybe two, you hear Emo's voice, and is it a male, is it female, or something like that? Or is it sort of, or will it make, or we found some clever voice that makes it feel like you can't tell either way? But yeah. But how Emo, but the person they choose and the tone of their voice might imply more on who's Emo's identity and all that stuff. So there's that. I do like how Oda is just still keeping. I figured Oda would have done an actual face reveal by now, but it seems like Oda's decided to play it the long term of like keeping Emu's face as much as a mystery as possible, and keep getting people more speculating on his idea as you get more hints like, oh, is Emo a male or female? Is Emo one of the original 20? Is Emo someone connected to the original 20? So you've got that. But I think this would see what Emo reveals about the D clan is that this is probably more no less doubt that at least not fully confirmed, but implied that those who once had the will of D were residents of the ancient kingdom and all that stuff, or at least, and those that now bear the D are possibly maybe survivors, or at least those who have inherited the Ds. But let's see, they're not necessarily. But they have, but due to the destruction of the Great Kingdom, their race of the Void, the things they did to erase history from the Void Century, they have long forgotten the meaning of its D and its purpose. But they still cause them trouble now and then, and but let's see, but he believes that that trouble stems from Lily's great mistake, and it seems like we finally got a confirmation that let's see, and how that let's see something about the road poneglyphs. It seems that we've learned that the reason why the world government never was able to confiscate the poneglyphs, let's see, before they were spread out in the world, was due to some mistake by Queen Lily. And from everything we've just learned in this chapter, Lily did that intentionally, and this is something that Emo suspects, and I think Emo even suspected. Well, I'm not sure if he suspected that Lily was a D or known that she was a D. At least, but it seems like let's see. Either way, Emo just wants whatever he thought about Lily confirmed, and probably that Lily had betrayed them and all that stuff. So, yeah. So it's because of Lily's mistake, they have to deal with all these Ds, all these pirates, these archaeologists looking for the poneglyphs for their own reasons and all that stuff. And as a result of this, they cause them a lot more trouble and all that stuff. And probably if they were able to, of course, get the poneglyphs, they would never have to probably have worried about their secrets being exposed, unless they themselves were being lack of care and all that stuff, which until probably now they haven't really been all that careless. So, yeah. So, but yeah. But this is interesting, the fact that each member of the Gorosei holds a gun, except for, of course, the one that holds a sword. So they do have, seems to be, let's see, granted, they are world nobles. So we've seen that pistols are the most common weapon among most world nobles, except for the white dressed member of the Elder that's bald and has a sword. He's the only one that just has a different weapon, so that's cool. So it goes to show he's at least efficient in that. And that was always that guy was always like the one that always implied whether or not the Gorosei had strength or abilities, or at least some form of combat. But I do find it interesting that Cobra is now let's see, just after just sitting in front of Emu and all the weapons drawn to him, realizes that, I'm not getting out of here alive. I think, some people were saying, how did he not think this was going to be the case when he said the name D and all that stuff? I think he always knew that probably asking about it would probably not give him a very high chance of survival, but I think just everything that's just now just been revealed, Ritzy has confirmed this, and when he even just asks about, even if I just possibly lie of what I've said, or if I lie about what I've seen here, Ritzy, the elders of like, nope, your moment was sealed once you had your identity. Once Emu revealed his identity to you, so you're going to die, so just ask the question. But it's interesting the fact that we had Sabo coming in. I mean, we know that Sabo revealed that he actually knew who was, let's see, he saw someone sitting on a pretty throne, but it's like, but he's been listening on into this conversation. I don't know for how long. For all we know, it could, let's see, my guess is it's, let's see, given how Cobra tells him about the let's see, D later, it could be just after. Let's see, the D. Let's see, Cobra asked the question of the D. It probably might just be even be just when Emo just came in, sat in, and all that stuff, or he was just coming in just as Emo was asking the questions. But either way, he's probably heard all the important stuff here. And, but yeah. But it's interesting the fact that we learned that the Nefertaris are actually members of the D clan. So that means, with Cobra being a D, and Vivi being a D. So, so it's Nefertari D Vivi. And I think for many people, this chapter is probably just guaranteed that Lily is about to reunite and become a member of the Straw Hats again. It seems to be all but guaranteed at this point. Though, granted, whether or not I think Lily's going to be a permanent Straw Hat or, once again, a temporary Straw Hat until, like, the world government is defeated, remains to be seen, because I think at some point she will go back and lead her people and maybe end up leading the world. Let's see, the world, help be one of the leaders of the world that helps with build it after the dawn. But yeah, but that's what she's going to be doing and all that stuff. So it's interesting to see that she's a D and all that stuff. And this has made some people wonder if like Luffy and her are related, or like some sort of bloodline connection, or well, let's see. We don't know if everyone in the D clan is yet, let's see, all blood related distantly, or just they all sort of follow a similar creed. But I have seen some people feel like with like Lily now having a D, even though I think the One Piece wiki hasn't quite put the D in her name yet. Though I wouldn't be surprised if Lily will refer to herself as a D once she learns the truth. I am curious to see how Robin reacts to all of this stuff about, let's see, the DE with Lily, and the fact that she's the one that scattered the poneglyphs. That is probably the one reaction I'm most looking forward to do. And also the Straw Hats when Sabo tells them about the message and all that stuff. Because I'm surprised that, because so far the only one that's ever asked Luffy about the D has been Robin, and that was back when they were enemies in Alabasta. But yeah. But I do like how once Cobra just says the name, and which seems to probably just confirm everything that Emu, or as he refers to himself as Mu, has about let's see, Nefertari ideally seems to, that's the signal to attack. Now this Black Arrow, there have been many speculations. Let's see, when the translation for spoilers came out, it was like people thought it was like an actual arrow, but you're wondering, it's like this is like the devil's tail, or a mythical tail, or some sort of hockey tail, some shadow tail, something like that. Let's see, did it come from Emu, or did it come from one of the elders? Whatever the case is, it might be, is very deadly, and might be something that only Luffy's Gear 5th powers can combat and all that stuff. So which might be what, let's see, as many are suspecting that I was going to go clap full on Tom and Jerry for the final fight of One Piece, which will be interesting to see. See play out and all that stuff. But I do like how Sabo's just going in for the kill, and apparently the name of his attack, Fire Fist Rock Check, is some sort of shogi or chess strategy of like cornering the king and all that stuff, whereas knights are and all that stuff. I'm not sure where to getting past the knights or something. I can't quite recall, but I do like how Saba's like, gotta take these guys out, but of course it doesn't work, and we finally get a glimpse more of what Imu's abilities are, and he seems to trick with him transforming into this beast that can eat Sabo's flames, which already kind of implies that, okay, he's powerful to, like, block a Loki fruit's powers and all that stuff, but yeah. But we got confirmation that him and the Gorosei seem to be all Zonin fruit users, and probably just by the way some of them are appearances-wise, it probably implies that they're all mythical Zoan users, which, let's see, those are arguably, besides Logia, appear to be the strongest. If you special paramecias or very specific paramecias like Whitebeard's Quake fruit are among the strongest devil fruits that we have in the series and all that stuff, so yeah. Now, for which Gorosei is each member, I think, given the fact that Oda was very consistent on like who was stepping where, it seems that the Gorosei with the boar or horns is Saturn, who is currently at Egghead, heading to Egghead right now with Kizaru. Let's see, one that is Sanji. Let's see, people regard to it, the young blonde one that people regard to as Sanji's father or now uncle, is the more of blobby circle one. Let's see, the sort of let's see, the swordsman one, or the one that everyone refers to as Gandhi, is let's see, some sort of awakened one. Let's see, the long pointed beard one is the bird, and the long moustache one is, I think, the sort of boar, or let's see, elephant, depending on who you ask, but I think it's probably likely a boar. But yeah, some sort of mythical boar, but yeah. So, yeah, this chapter confirms that the Gorosei do have some abilities and powers, and they're probably quite strong as they survived Sabo's flames. Now, how strong they are, we still don't really know. For we know, they could be below admirals, above admirals, or maybe they're like a Garp or Sengoku like figures. We just don't know. But the Gorosei, at the very least, made themselves Ritsu's very strong contenders as some of the final opponents in the series for either the Straw Hats to face, or maybe even some of their allies. For we know, it could be a bit of a mixture. It really depends on who he wants to do for these who's who in the final battles and all that stuff. So, yeah. But yeah, I do like how Sabo is, let's like just realize that, okay, I have probably a bit more than I can chew and trying to take these guys down. I'm not sure if this was Sabo's plan from the beginning when he was trying to check out this forbidden room, or let's see, he realizes like, okay, this is the room, and it's like the 5 elders are here. You know what? I'm gonna take my chance and take them out, since these are my enemies. But I do like how Cobra still kept track on like everything about Luffy, that he's able to recognize Sabo. Sabo is his brother, well, as long as being the revolutionary commanders. And I do like how it seems like when he asks why the revolutionary is helping him, it seems like, let's see, because remember, he was, 8 years ago at the Reverie when that one king talked about the threat that Dragon possessed. He wondered if perhaps the revolutionaries would be a threat to his kingdom one day, but realizes, he's at least able to know that he can probably count on Sabo for what goes next once he, of course, revealed that, our goal is those celestial dragons over there. But I do like how Sabo's able to tell that, that's his brother. That does sound like my brother when he revealed that Luffy saved his life. But I do like how Cobra's willing to sacrifice himself and let Sabo go because he wants to deliver a message about the D thing. And it's interesting, this flashback where Sabo did ask about the D, because, well, no one else is, because it's very rare for anyone to ask Luffy about the D, like I said, except for Robin. So, and then it's interesting how both Luffy and Ace do not Ace also did not care. But it's interesting that Ace decides to give Sabo see a D, and it like Oda does in the most funny way of Sadibo, or like sad boy, if you will, in the way you say it. But this might be the first hint that those who possess the will of D could also pass it on to others who wish to have it and all that stuff, which probably might fit into what Whitebeard said, that you might wipe out the bloodline, but the will be inherited and passed down and all that stuff. And in a sense, Sabo has carried on, is one of the people that is carrying on Ace's will and all that stuff. But yeah. But granted, there seems to be a bit of flack for Sabo for being injured easily from this like arrow thing and trying to and failing to take out the elders. But I don't think this makes Sabo really weak, but I think it just goes to show just how strong the elders and Emu are. That it's like, face it, did you really expect Sabo to take out arguably probably the final big boss and his top? It's possibly his top officers, if you will. So there's that. So but props him for trying and then immediately escaping and not recklessly throwing his life away. But I do like how Cobra and trying to save Cobra. It does make it seem like kind of harsh, Sabo, like what you said previously about I'm not completely against the circumstances that have allowed our rebellion to progress with Cobra's death, but I guess it does show some signs that he probably feels guilty about everything that's transpired. But yeah, but I do like but yeah, we finally got Cobra's death. Now, granted, I think I've heard some people saying like, I wish this wasn't in a flashback and we saw it in first hand just for the shock factor. But I do say that well, it would probably been very sad and shocking to see it if we didn't learn about the news before it. I think either way, it's still quite an impactful death because, well, Cobra's been one of those established characters that fans we have been quite fond of, and Lily's dad and Vivi's dad. And in many ways, you could say this is sort of an integral flashback past thing of like the tragic loss that Lily has, that all Straw Hats who lose a figure in their past life, have that eventually, as proof that this is proof that eventually at some point they're going to join the crew, as we know that for many people, like you lose like there's for Straw Hat, they lose someone important to them, that it's a sign that they're going to become a Straw Hat member. So yeah. But I do like how but I finally understand now why Oda has brought back Wapol and all that stuff, and the fact that he's the one that's discovered the world government's dark secrets. Now finally starting to make sense. Oda's decided to have this now villain turned gag character be the one to discover the shocking truth, and arguably possibly with him going to Morgan's, be the one to at least hint or imply what is going on. But I have to wait and see what Wapol's willing to tell Morgan's and all that stuff. But yeah, but we now actually have a purpose and why probably he probably escaped with Vivi and all that stuff. And rather than someone like Sabo, who I thought, like before it was revealed that Vivi was with Wapol a couple of chapters back, with Morgan's, he was actually she was actually with Sabo, and when Luffy reunites with Sabo, he will reunite with Vivi and all that stuff. So yeah. So but yeah. But I do kind of like how Wapol. Now, why Wapol was peeping and spying? I think he was trying to find some dirt on Cobra, but bought more than he bargained for. But it is interesting to see him like not being all like, Cobra's dead, and feels like, oh man, even I feel sorry for the guy. Well, I guess it depends on the translation, but clearly he's prioritizing his own life, and he's running and all that stuff. So yeah, I thought that was kind of cool seeing. But anyway, Now that let's see, I've just given all my thoughts on that bit. We're now going to continue with like arguably the last pretty 5 pages of this summary. Is now that we cut back to the round table council of the Leverly, in which people notice that Wapple and Cobra are not here, or if they're running late. Apparently, one of them says they got word that they will not be here anymore, and they will proceed, and we should proceed without them. With with like the Lincoln, I think President King Hamburgus thinks that okay. Cobra is sort of theorizing that Cobra's impassioned speech about the warlords has probably tuckered him out. We get some of the kings and queens chuckling about that, thinking he must be really satisfied about getting the warlords abolished and all that stuff. Many of them thinking that probably, his work is probably done. But you see, Riku and Neptune being a bit suspicious about this, but not saying anything. But they decide that then they're now going to finish up on, the last things they need to discuss in this meeting. And one of the things we're talking about is this independence of a 4-nation alliance in the North Blue. And then we are cutting to like the Neptune siblings, Fukaboshi, Mamboshi, and Ramboshi, I think, along with Shirahoshi. You know what? I'm just actually going to get. Let's see. You know what? I'm just going to get. Let's see the actual names up because I want to be I want to get them right. Let's see. Hold on. Fukaboyoshi, Royobushi, and Mamboshi. Okay, I was right. And Shirahoshi. They're escorting Shostri out of here as the meeting's going to end soon, and they're going to go to the Red Port so they don't have to deal with any more of those foolish celestial dragons. But but one of them ends up being concerned and asking her what's the matter. With Shirahoshi saying how she wishes to say goodbye to Vivi before they leave. I'm surprised she doesn't want to say goodbye to Rebecca. What happened to Rebecca? But who knows? But she's wondering where she could have gone, though. Granted, she probably already said goodbye to Rebecca, but she hasn't said goodbye to Vivi. But yeah. She's wondering where her friend Vivi is, and this is sort of building on to what happened with, Garp telling them that something happened to Alabasta as they left before the news of that broke out. And next we see Vivi demanding why on earth the CP0 have kidnapped her and untied her, wondering who's ordered this, saying that if you don't let her go, she'll tell the entire world what happened here. And, of course, it's CP0, but, of course, it's the ones who were once CP9, particularly Jabra and Khalifa, who have got, their introductions as members of Cypher Pulse Zero, even though we saw them as members a couple of chapters ago. But, of course, we see them sort of laughing and saying, why on earth would we let you go when you're being so honest about that? Let's see, with Khalifa saying that you're going to become someone's pet after this. You're not going to get out of here, and you'll just be written down as someone gone missing. Which I'm like, ooh, bad. Let's see, which is like people going no, you guys are going dirty, CP9 now, CP0, but what do you expect? They're World Noble's puppet dogs now. But yeah. Let's see, but Vivi ends up asking is Shirahoshi safe, but let's see, with Jabba saying you should worry about yourself. But he says that there seems to be some other incident that happened earlier, but tells her that she's fine. Vivi's just glad to hear that, and we get to learn some more about what happened after when Sai and Leo hit, let's see, Charlos and all that stuff. Let's see, after his attempt to try and kidnap Shirahoshi and all that stuff, they proudly proclaim themselves as followers of Straw Hat Luffy, members of the Straw Hat Grand Fleet, naming themselves loud and proud that they got a shot everyone around them and all that stuff. It's like, why on earth would you be so happy about this? What on earth? Well, why would you admit that? And apparently we also learned that over in the land of gods, Fujitora apparently helped the revolutionary army, freed all the slaves. That caused Ryuko to get angry at him, and then ended up fighting him for a bit. With him just Jabba saying that now this reverie has just been some crazy thing. With Vivi trying to think about how she needs to escape and needs to somehow do, as she doesn't want to become someone's pet or slave. And that stuff over her dead body, if you will. And just then, Wapol ends up crashing in, going like, "Help me, I didn't see anything," just using as much power to get in. But he's shocking and blowing away like the CP says, like, what is going on? All that stuff, which surprises Vivi, as he tells everyone to get out of their way. But Vivi realizes that this is her chance and hops onto Wapol as he munches away. CP0 agents and former CP9 agents and confused what's going on, realizing that it's Wapol, but one like, what happened to Vivi? Where she's gone? And then you see Wapol's wife Kinderella, who's been looking for Wapol, saying that who's been looking after him, wondering where he's been, but she's wondering, wait, who's that young woman with you? Not recognizing Vivi from like the conversation Wapol had earlier with her. But she ends up hearing out of context a conversation with Vivi of Wapol, where Vivi's asking Wapol where he's going, as Wapol tells her that he's going to go to like the ends of the earth when no one can find me. Let's see, with Vivi saying that sounds good to her, and she wants to come along with him. And this confuses Kinderella, wondering like, are they interloping? Is my husband cheating on me? In that commercial way as we end the chapter. Oh boy, now that is a funny way to see now. Despite such a serious all the serious stuff, that's quite a funny way to end the chapter. But before I get to that, it is interesting how, many of the kings and queens of how the kings and queens are like, I've noticed that Wapol and Cobra's presence is missing, all that stuff, and what's going on. But once they've been informed that they're not going to be in the meeting, they got all these very amusing assumptions that Cobra's probably just worn himself out and and just probably just resting after some impassioned speech he had about abolishing the warlords, and many of them joking about how, okay, he got rid of the warlords. That's probably what his main purpose was. He probably feels his work is done. Let the guy rest, all that stuff. But only probably to be more like amusing. In many ways, it's kind of dark thinking about how they're just laughing about this when he's now actually dead, but they don't know it. So it'll be very interesting. So it's probably interesting that they probably had very similar reactions to the rest of the world, and maybe even Sabo's brother Stelly had, when it's like, the revolutionary was there? They killed Cobra? This is shocking! Oh my god, I can't believe this happened! Why were they doing this? It's like when you're doing some silly, goofy antics, and then you just learn someone important or someone you know has died recently, and it's like, you've been acting like a fool, and this guy has died. So I like that. But I do like how Cobra, I do like how Riku and Neptune are suspicious about Cobra being absent and realize that he probably wouldn't be doing this and probably were trying to see matters to the end, because Wapol is a very serious king and a very good king. And I wouldn't be surprised that with due to the connection with Straw Hat Luffy, and due to the fact their daughters are getting along, or granddaughters in Riku's case, let's see. Case, and the fact that they're all generally good kings who care for their people. They've probably had some civil conversations during the meetings and all that, in post breaks in their meetings. They even had some talks. So I bet they've come to probably appreciate Cobra, and maybe even hoping to have like some future relations with each other. Because once the series ends, you know that Alabasta, Fishman Island, and probably Dressrosa we're going to have some very good relations due to their, let's see, mutual friend and Straw Hat Luffy. So, yeah. But I do like how Fukabashi is like making a proper top priority to get Vivi to no, not Vivi, Shirahoshi to rate at the Red Port, as it'll be that Red Port, because it'll be safer and they don't have to deal with any more celestial dragons. They're now trying to kidnap her. Which of course probably made to miss, which is probably the explanation how they ended up missing the news that Sabo ended up being dead, and Sabo ended up apparently killing Cobra, and Vivi's now gone missing. But I do like how Vivi she wants to say goodbye to Vivi, and that's leading to this next bit where Vivi's now tied up. I swear, Oda, for some reason for this reverie has a thing for tying up princesses. I think of course, Vivi got the more nicer treatment compared to Shirahoshi, given the fact that, Charles was trying to chain her and make her a slave. But yeah. But I do like how Vivi's just all demanding, not backing down. Her time with Straw Hats really made her bold, saying, "How dare you kidnap me? Why are you doing this? Untie me. Untie me. Who ordered this? If you don't do so, I will tell everyone the treatment that you guys are giving and all that stuff." So yeah, which I wouldn't be surprised that when people learn the truth about who actually killed Cobra, they might get some backup from Vivi's words, who reveals that the world government tried to kidnap me and tried to make me disappear and all that stuff, and even planning to make me someone's pet or slave, if you will. But yeah, but I do like how it is we see the CP0 agents on Jabra and Caliphate, and I do like how they got their logos and all that stuff, going "You're being a bit too headstrong and all that stuff. We're not going to let you go. In fact, you're likely to be someone's pet as we write you off as missing." Showing just kind of how scummy that it goes to show that despite the fact that the Straw Hats beat these guys the first time, they're still kind of scummy, and they might even gotten worse since they've since they've now become full-blown subordinates of the Celestial Dragons. I do like Vivi showing her well-being for others by asking if Shirahoshi is safe despite her own predicament and all that stuff, and is just relieved when she's told that she's fine. But it's interesting to learn that Sai and Leo proudly boast that they're members of the Straw Hat Fleet, which may or may not lead to some build-up to the more direct conflict with the world government and the Straw Hats, as they learn that as people learn that it's the Straw Hat Luffy subordinates are now once again trying to assassinate Charlos from 2 years ago, and then once Luffy who once punched this guy, this particular world noble, his subordinates are now doing the same. It's saying he's a menace that must be stopped and all that stuff. Now, granted, I don't think this is the great incident, like I've said a few times in my previous streams, but this is clear. But I think this is clearly building up the conflict the world government will have with the Straw Hat Ground Fleet, which I wouldn't be surprised if the Straw Hat Ground Fleet does end up going to Egghead. You'll probably hear something like Kizaru when confronting either Sai or Leo saying how, maybe both, how the world nobles have been clamoring for your two arrests and all that stuff, or they might be specifically targeted if they arrive in that battlefield or that incident. But anyway, Fujitora remains to be a Chad or the number one Marine, or the actual true Marine here, by apparently letting the revolutionaries escape with the slaves and all that stuff, even seemingly helping them, which seems to anger Ryuk, Vice Admiral, Ryugu and all that stuff. Let's see, I think at this point, Ryuk now, Akainu, who was once a bit unnecessarily chill with Fujitora, but now seems to be probably hostile, being so pro world nobles and all that stuff, is now fighting him and all that stuff. So yeah, that might be where Fujitora gets his own head injury. Let's see, as many people suspected, it was Sabo, and then and the revolutionary captains, and then people probably thought it was Karasha, but now might actually be let's see, Ryuku that's probably done that head injury. We don't know. It really depends on how they did the damage, but this probably also explains why the two admirals were occupied and not even coming to like Charlotte's aid, or how the revolutionaries were able to escape because they were too busy fighting each other over more distant distances. And I wouldn't be surprised that we see if Fujitora does not actually side with the Marines in the final battle and instead defies Akainu. But I am curious to see who we end up fighting, because I think probably Fujitora will probably become the next fleet admiral. Let's see, and all that stuff. He's with any power, let's see, because once Akainu and Kizaru and Ryuku are probably defeated, they're probably not going to stay on as Marines, as they're more pro-world government and world nobles and all that stuff, but yeah. But as I do like how Vivi's trying to think of a plan to escape, as Jibra just relaxed and thinking about how chaotic the whole situation is. Now, let's see. As for now, like I said, it was very funny in how they escaped with Wapol, and it's not really surprising. This is there's just using a sort of gag, and this is I think where it worked. Where like it's so ridiculous that you can just kind of buy into it. It's like run away, and then it's somehow able to escape. I mean, it's like a sort of how like all the lucky things that happen to Buggy with his gags and all that stuff. But I do like how I think it's enough explanation that let's see, Wapol just charges in. It throws the Gutsy guards off by just a CP0 who are acting as guards by the dumb Frownery. By the way, I do like how you've got the other CP0 members that are there. Let's see, hold on. Government, you can see Bluno, Komodari, and Fukuro are just busy playing cards while Jabro and Califa are just talking to Vivian and all that stuff. But they're just like, wait, what just happened? And then just before they can realize what's going on, it's like, Vivi's escaped. Wapol's probably taken with her and all that stuff. Let's see. Wapol has managed to speed one so far out of there that they were able to escape without being able to catch them. Granted, I suppose being assassins, they should be able to keep up, but I think they were just too dumbfounded long enough that they lost sight of Wapol and he was able to escape with Vivi and all that stuff. But I do like the funny moment with I do like how Vivi takes advantage of this. But I do think that that was just the funniest joke to end on, with like Cinderella thinking, Wapol, why are you cheating? Are you cheating on me with this young princess and all that stuff? Now, granted, if she was paying attention, she probably would have realized that, okay, there's no way, if she knew her husband as well she should know that, okay, Wapol hates Nefertaris. This is the same girl she was making fun of, whose dad she was making fun of earlier. So it's like, nah, they're not cheating and all that stuff. But I am curious, but it is curious about how Vivi is just like, I'm coming with you, Wapol, when he says, I'm going to go to the ends of the earth because, well, he's trying to hide and all that stuff. But Now, granted, I'm curious to see if this will damage the relationship between Wapol and Cinderella, or will she forgive him later when she learns the context and all that stuff? Though she could also be mad at him for leaving her behind. I guess it really depends on what the world government's going to do with her. Will they keep her here for questioning about where's your husband, or will they allow her to go and have her as acting ruler while they search for her husband and make some lie that they're just looking for her and all that stuff? But either way. But it's just funny, just really funny way of like ending the chapter. I mean, granted, some might find it a bit of a mix of tone. Unlike you have all the serious stuff with Cobra and the Five Elders and Emo and Sabo earlier, and then you have this gag moment of Wapol running away. But I think One Piece handles it quite well. It's like they did all the serious stuff first, and once that was gone, and once you realized Wapol's the one that discovered Emu, it's just the funniest bit. It's just going gag mode of like, I gotta get out of here, and he ran as fast as like Scooby and Shaggy do whenever they see a monster. overall, I'd say this chapter is a 10 out of 10. We learned that the Nefertaris are actually members of the D clan. We got a joke about how probably Sar-Debo and probably that, let's see, an idea that the D clan, let's see, D's are not necessarily like D's aren't all necessarily related by blood, but you'd probably be something given out, and that they were probably more or less, the and let's see, part of the Great Kingdom that fought against the world government. We learned that finally that the polyglyphs were scattered in the first place because, well, Lily intentionally planned that, and is probably trying to keep the dawn, try and move way for the future for the dawn to happen. Cobra believes that's the path Alabaster goes, so you're probably going to have Alabaster fighting alongside them. All that stuff, especially when they learn that Cobra was killed by the world government, and that he's planning to, and that Cobra sacrificed his life so that Sabo could escape with a message and all that stuff for Luffy and Vivi, which is probably future building to like Lily becoming the pirate. Not pirate king, but Lily rejoining back the Straw Hats and becoming a pirate again. I'm curious, she's going to become a bounty. She's going to get a bounty, but I think at the very least, she's going to be at least with the Straw Hats, at least for their final voyage. Though after that, it's probably going to be going back to Alabasta to rule it because she's now the queen. But yeah. And the fact that we've got more hints. We've got hints of like Imu's personality, of how he speaks to himself in third person, and the hints of him and the elders' abilities, and they appear to have mythical zonins, and maybe Imu maybe have some toon powers similar to Luffy, which make for an interesting fight. And learning a few details like Sai and Leah, what they did after punching the Celestial Dragon, how how Shirahoshi, was escorted without learning what happened to Vivi and Alabasta compared to probably some of the other royals, and to Garp Toda. How Vivi was at first being kidnapped by CP0, but then rescued by Wapol, who also saw it. And let's see what else. We finally saw Cobra's death, and we just got some confirmation, like all the things that have just happened off screen with let's see when we got new updates on the Reverie or Leverie, if you will. If I had to get let's see, if it wasn't for the early late release of the next chapter, let's see, I'm not going to spoil too much on that one, but if I were to guess before that, I would guess that we would have at least one more chapter of flashbacks going, like the next setup things, and then get back to the main timeline. But I think pretty much we've got all the main things from this flashback from the Leverie. Now that's over, we're probably going to get to the main timeline thing, all that. I'm really looking forward to seeing how. Let's see, now that we've got context of pops and more hints of the 5 Elder Strengths, let's see, it might not just actually be Luffy versus Kizaru, it might be Luffy versus Saturn, but we'll have to wait and see what's happened. But I have a feeling that Luffy wants to fight. Luffy might fight both, or at least both of them at one certain point of time each, but yeah. So yeah, we've got all that stuff, and there's just more theories going on. Very good chapter. Let's see, I think I've just about covered everything I've had to say. For those who end up listening, even if you just only come back and forth in, or if you're just for those who watched or listened, I hope you enjoyed what I said, or even watched later. I look forward to talking with you all again when I review the next chapter once it's officially come out later tomorrow or today, if you will, here in the UK. But yeah, but this chapter's done a lot of pretty good setup. That let's see, Vivi for joining Straw Hats, Elders and the Powers, Sai and Leah on the Grand Fleet, and what happening with Wapol and all that stuff. And probably the Straw Hats now getting more curious about the Will of D and the dawn of the flag and all that stuff, and more lore and info in the poneglyphs. So that's all I have to say now. I am Blue Star Saber signing off. Thank you for joining me, and goodbye.